My friends don't like you, we need to break up, she said. I replied, good, then you can join them. The way her friends looked at her after I left said everything. Sarah and I had been together for 2 years when she dropped that line. We met in college, started dating senior year, and moved to Chicago together after graduation. I'm an accountant. She was studying for the bar exam, and we'd built what I thought was a solid life together. But her friend group from undergrad had always been an issue, especially Jess, her best friend since freshman year, who made it clear from day one that I wasn't cool enough for their circle. They were all in creative fields, graphic design, marketing, freelance photography. Meanwhile, I was the boring guy who worked 9 to 5 and wore button-downs. Every time we hung out with them, I'd try to engage, ask about their projects, laugh at their inside jokes, bring wine to their brunches. But Jess would always find ways to make digs. Must be nice having such a predictable schedule, or Sarah used to be more spontaneous before she got serious. The breaking point came on a Friday night. Sarah had her bar exam in 3 weeks, and she was stressed beyond belief. Her friends had planned one of their famous girls' nights. Wine, gossip, the usual. But Sarah was panicking about constitutional law, so I offered to come over early and help her study before they arrived. I spent 2 hours making flashcards, organizing her notes, explaining concepts she was struggling with. We ordered pizza, I made coffee, and by the time her friends showed up at 8, she was actually feeling confident about one of her weakest subjects. That's when everything fell apart. I was in her bedroom putting the study materials away when Sarah walked in and closed the door. She had this look on her face, like she'd been building up to something for weeks. She said, my friends don't like you, and honestly, I can't keep defending you. We need to break up. I just stared at her. I'd literally spent my entire evening helping her chase her dreams while her friends were showing up to drink wine and complain about their Tinder dates. I asked her what exactly they didn't like about me. She said I was too quiet at their events, that I didn't fit in with their vibe, that Jess thought I was holding her back from being her true self. I looked at the flashcards I'd just made, the highlighted notes, the practice questions I'd written out by hand because she learned better that way. I said, good, then you can join them, and started packing up my stuff. She immediately backtracked, told me I was being dramatic, that we could work on this, that maybe I could try being more social with them. I asked her what exactly we were working on, me pretending to be someone else so her friends would approve. She didn't have an answer. I grabbed my laptop bag and walked out of the bedroom. Her 4 friends were sitting in the living room with their wine glasses, and the conversation stopped the second they saw me. Jess had this smug look on her face, like she'd finally won. She said, see? Told you he'd just leave. I didn't respond. But then Maya, one of the quieter friends who I'd barely spoken to, said something that made everyone freeze. Wait, he was helping her study on girls' night for the past 2 months? The room went dead silent. Another friend, Rachel, looked at Sarah and said, you told us he was controlling your time. You said he guilt-tripped you about spending Fridays with us. I watched Sarah's face go red. Apparently, she'd been lying to her friends about why she'd been canceling plans, telling them I was the problem instead of admitting she needed to study. Jess tried to save face, saying, well, he's still not a good fit for our group. Maya cut her off. Our group? Sarah's about to be a lawyer and he's been supporting that while we've been, day drinking? I didn't stick around for the rest. I walked out, got in my car, and blocked Sarah's number. 3 hours later, she texted from a different number. Said her friends had just spent the past hour going through everything, and they'd realized I was the only one who'd actually been supporting her dreams. Maya had apparently torn into Jess, pointing out that a real friend would have been helping Sarah study instead of sabotaging her relationship. Sarah said she'd made a huge mistake, that she'd let Jess manipulate her into thinking I was the problem when I was actually the solution. She asked if we could talk. I replied, ask your friends if that's allowed. Never heard from her again. Last I heard through mutual friends, Sarah passed the bar but moved to Boston shortly after. Apparently, the friend group imploded when everyone realized Jess had been undermining Sarah's relationships for years because she couldn't handle not being the center of attention. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to let it.